This is RTP. This is RTP180.
Okay, so they invited me here tonight to be the dissenter. I'm the one you guys are going to boo at because I'm here to talk about the downside of technology, some of the possible pitfalls. Yeah, go ahead, get them out. Some of the pitfalls of all of this smart technology. So, So what gives me expertise to talk about this besides being a child psychologist and an author of a parenting book? I also have 2 teenagers in my house, a fresh 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. So the topic of devices, smart technology, screens, it's a very common one that's encountered in our house. So what's all the fuss about? You remember when our biggest concern was that kids would get too close to a TV, and I think we thought they would go blind or something? Was that our concern? So those were the good old days, right? So I'm going to hone in tonight on 4 of the common concerns that we might need to be aware of when it comes to technology and all this smart gadgets and smart devices. The first one is we have the potential to be really lazy. So in this day and age, we can sit on our couch and we can be streaming a movie on Netflix, shout at Alexa to order us food from Uber Eats, FaceTime our husband to see if he's coming home for dinner, and we never have to leave our couch. So we have this immediate gratification. We want it now and we want it fast. For example, you guys could all take out your smartphones now. You could go to Amazon. You could look up the No Wimpy Parenting Handbook by Kristen Wynns. You could order it, and it'll be at your house by the time you get home. So it's amazing. But we get spoiled with wanting it now, and we can become impatient when we have to wait for anything. The next one is the social impact. Particularly with young people, which we see a lot of in my practice, people have lost the art of conversation. We're so used to communicating now with quick texts that are incomplete sentences and all the fun little acronyms we use that we're at risk for forgetting what it's like to actually sit down and talk to someone. We also have the illusion sometimes of being connected. Let's say our friend is going through a tough time. She's going through a divorce. And we think because we've looked at her Facebook post and liked it with that little sad cry face, and then we've sent her a text with the Bitmoji of the little monkey hanging off the tree, and it says, hang in there. We've sent her that. We know what book she's reading on Goodreads. We know what music she's listening to on Spotify. So we feel like we are connected, but knowing about someone is not the same thing as connection. There's still something to be said for going to her house, surprising her with dinner, sitting there, talking, crying together, giving her a hug. There's still some of that that's got to be in our lives. Also, there's isolation. Again, if we're kind of surrounded with our MacBook and our iPhone, and we've got the robot vacuum buzzing around happily, and you've got your video games going, you might think, I've got everything I need right here. But there's all kinds of research showing we can live longer from having social connections. I don't know if there's research showing that we can live longer the more devices we have. Finally, there's the risk of distraction. It's like that Pavlovian response where you see people out to eat and somebody's phone buzzes and they just have to grab it. They have to check the message. Or these watches that vibrate. You feel it vibrate and you just have to look and see what the message is. Even in my field, in private practice, it's changed a lot where many of us now take notes with our client using a laptop, and we have to be mindful of turning off the IM notifications or Facebook notifications or emails because we could be distracted when we're trying to help someone. It could be a terrible moment if we're talking to a client and we scream out, "Oh no," and then we pray that they don't see this on our screen. Just kidding. I know people get obsessed with Candy Crush. I've never played it, but I know people get crazy about it. And we would never, ever play games in a therapy session. That's just to make a point. So the third one is the impact on us emotionally and with our or mental health. There are all kinds of studies showing a connection between how much time you have on a screen, particularly TV time and computers, being linked to depression and anxiety. There's also all kinds of studies showing that our attention spans are shorter, and there can be a potential risk for ADHD, especially with younger kids, because we really have this potential for 24/7 stimulation now. The TV never really goes off like it used to. Social media never shuts down. You can basically have something stimulating your brain all the time, and we still need to have that rest and break from it. There's also this myth of multitasking. They've studied this to death. You can't do it. You cannot do two things effectively at the same time. Something's going to suffer. And sadly, this is true even for women. I know we brag that we can do two things at once, but even we can't do two things well at the same time. There's also the impact on self-esteem, because everything we see in front of us in social media looks like everyone has the perfect life, the perfect family, the perfect vacation. I mean, look at this. This is obnoxious. Look at these people. These are so cute. Nobody looks like that in real life. No families look like that. The fourth one is health. Of course, most people now know that those TV and computers, that blue light suppresses the melatonin that we are supposed to make at night that makes us sleepy. But if you've got that device in front of you, that blue light suppresses that, so it messes up your circadian rhythms. And also, obviously, there's a link to obesity. If you're inactive on a device, you're not going to be outside exercising. So, really quick with the time I have left, what do we do about all this? So first thing is balance. I encourage all of us to use this technology, use these devices to save us time, but then use that time to actually make connections in real life with people, to make a call or walk up the street and check on your neighbors. Also, just do the reality check and remind yourself that what you see online is often photoshopped or airbrushed, and remind yourself, hey, we're all doing the best we can. Most people are not posting all the ugly stuff. I do sometimes. I'll post a picture of my terrible laundry pile in my bedroom, but most people post the perfect stuff. Also, just increase your awareness. There are all these apps now for tracking how much time you're on things. You can even get an app that will force your phone to turn off, and it will not turn on again until a certain time. So there are devices out there and apps to track it. And then finally, just talk as a family about what limits and family rules you might want to have. You might want to say no phones at the dinner table. You might want to say you have a device-free day. I just heard a tip where when you get home from work, you should leave your phone in the car for an hour and just engage with your family for a bit before you get it out again. Thank you.